I'm Bob.
I'm Dan.
And this is the Board Game Rundown, and today we're going to give you our first impressions on Kronologic Paris 1920. This is a game for 1 to 4 people. It's like a deduction game, very similar to Turing Machine, where you're going to be asking questions and using cards with holes in them to get your answers, but you're doing more of a detective type of whodunit mission. And so one of the unique things about this is when you open up the case file, this is, you're going to pick a time, or you're going to pick a person, and you're going to ask a question like, where were they here, or when were we at this location? And then there's a bit of public information you're going to give everybody, and there's a little bit of private information you're going to keep to yourself. And then you're going to take turns going around until somebody makes a guess. You're going to keep your guess secret, look in the book to see if you're right. If you're wrong, you sit out, you keep your mouth shut, and then everybody else keeps going until somebody gets it right, or everybody gets it wrong. But this is a game by Fabian and Johan Levitt, and Origames. Sorry, our English accents are not great. Origames and Super Meeple are the producers and publishers. And I really enjoy this. I'm a big fan of Turing Machine, and this felt like Turing Machine with more of a theme, something you can really get your head around, whereas Turing Machine felt more abstract. Does circle and square equal triangle? I don't know, but I know the detective was with this person in this room at this time. You know, it's something that I feel like is more approachable. Dan, what were your thoughts about this?
So Turing Machine was one of my favorite games when I played it. I love logic puzzles. I love that kind of basic deduction, like as in like not social deduction or anything like that, just deduction, right? Pure deduction. I do Sudokus in my spare time. I say that all the time because I think it's funny to people. But yeah, so Turing Machine was great, and I literally didn't know this game existed until we were at the con. And, and someone was talking about how it was made by the same guy that did Turing Machine, Fabian, who we had talked to. Funny, hadn't brought it up.
Right.
And everything like that. And then we looked at it and it was like, no way, it does the same like multiple layer card idea as Turing Machine. So I literally bought it instantly. I didn't even know anything about it.
Yep,
I bought
same.
it and I was like, hey Bob, you want to like go test this out somewhere?
Yes.
And we played it, and I loved it. I think it does two things. So Turing Machine is still great, don't get me wrong. And I think it's kind of an underappreciated gem, honestly. But this game does two things that I cannot argue are an improvement, and that's first of all the theme for people. I like the theme of Turing Machine, don't get me wrong, and I like how insanely like realistically thematic it is with the punch card paper and everything for like analog computers. But being able to, like Bob said, the detective was with the adventurer in the hall.
Spoilers.
That's so much easier to understand and teach.
Wrap your head around.
And then the way that the time works and everything like that, I thought it was so cool. But then the other thing that this game does, because again, a big complaint for Turing Machine, even from me kind of, is it's basically a solo game.
Right.
There's almost no player interaction. Everyone's just sitting down trying to solve the same puzzle fastest. And this game introduces that public knowledge on a card, and it is genius, man. You say, okay, where was the adventurer at 5 o'clock or something like that, right? And you look at the stuff, or, you know, I guess that's not exact thing you could ask. But
where was the adventurer in this room?
Yeah, when was the adventurer in the hall? And it will tell you how many times they were there and, like, which room. And, like, they tell you this kind of stuff, and you're looking at it, and some of it is green, which means you tell everyone, and some of it's white. So you might have to say, so the adventurer was in the hall, right? And I would tell you, he was in the hall twice. I'll tell that to everyone, but mine says one of those times was at 5 o'clock. And only I know that. And so you have like a clue-like paper where you're putting all the information behind a shield. And you write A in the hall at 5 o'clock or whatever to mark that for yourself. And you're just slowly asking questions and eliminating these things while gathering information. So happy with it. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to show my family this because they all liked Turing Machine. But it was definitely a little bit like this like abstract computer white on green look just really wasn't doing it for them. And I think while the logic in Turing Machine I don't think is difficult, it is just weird to explain. And so it takes a while, like Bob said again, is a sentence I've said a lot in the past where it's just really hard to explain to someone, does triangle plus circle equal square? That is such a weird abstract sense to explain to people. It makes perfect sense when you understand the rules of the game, but it's weird to teach. And they knocked out of the park here, and we literally just found out before starting this video that only like 2 more versions are coming called Cusco and Babylon. Awesome. Also, it's probably called Kronologic.
Oh, maybe. But we never told how it's actually pronounced.
Yeah, but Chrono. It just sounds
Kronologic.
Cool. But because it is in different places in time, so maybe it's like a double pun kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I don't have too much more to say other than strong endorsement. Check this out when you
Yes.
can, especially if you like Turing Machine. Or if Turing Machine, maybe the theme didn't hit for you or whoever you were trying to teach it. But also, if you just like pure deduction games that have that
Like a Clue type of game.
Clue feel,
Yes.
but like an
Very
interesting deduction
way
game.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
really like the art on it. It comes with 3 scenarios. Each scenario's got like 5 different types of cases in each
Right.
one. So there's a lot of replayability in there. Plus, like they do with Turing Machine, they can put stuff online.
Yeah.
And to re-answer, just use the same cards with different questions and things
All
like
you
that.
have to do is on their website make like downloadable maps
Yep.
that you could get like on paper. Instantly changes every answer. Like in Turing Machine, because of how it's just math, you can go to a website and just have basically an infinite number of possibilities that you could solve. This one's a bit more limited than that, I think, because of how the 3 layers overlap. But still, very impressed with Kronologic Paris 1920. Check it out, guys, for sure.
Yeah, strong endorse. So this has been the Board Game Rundown. We hope you appreciate our first thoughts on Kronologic. Kronologic. We'll figure out that enunciation for you from the designer. So, but if you enjoyed this content, hopefully we'll see you in our next one that we do. So for Board Game Rundown, I've been Bob.
I've been Dan.
Thanks for watching.
And you can say the title's only 3 words.